A major report just comes out and shows the dire straits of the U.S. economy. I'll give you the details on this and what the Fed will probably be doing here going forward, which will affect the lives of millions of Americans. Also, the U.S. government is on high alert after what just happened. I'll give you the details here on that as well. Also, treasures, ancient artifacts were just uncovered, centuries old. I'll give you the details on that, and I'll actually show them to you here in this video. Very interesting episode. Let's jump right in. Thank you so much for smashing the like button for us. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new episodes that come out here every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's jump right in. Here we go. Okay, a new startling report here has come out that consumer prices, aka inflation, rose 3.5% from a year ago in March, more than expected. Consumer Price Index, known as CPI, a key gauge of inflation, rose 3.5% in March. And this is bad because it's gone up January, February, and now March. It's gone up, up, and up. Shelter and energy costs drove the increases. Energy rose 1.1% after increasing 2.3% in February, while shelter costs were 0.4% higher on the month, up 5.7% from a year ago. Following the report, traders pushed the first expected rate cut out to September, according to CME Group calculations. And after the news, the stock market, Dow Jones, fell 400 points yesterday. Today, the stock market recovered a little bit. Some of the markets did, some didn't. But the big news here is that inflation is actually jumping back up. And when you see 3.5% inflation, some people might say, well, that's not that bad compared to where it was last year. But here's where it gets you. This means that 3.5% inflation and 5.7% inflation, this is on top of last year's inflation. This is 3.5% more than last year. Whenever you see inflation numbers, remember that this is the inflation above what it was the year before. Inflation numbers are always plus or minus what they were the year before. So if it was negative 1.1%, that would be actually okay, because remember that inflation was at 40-year highs just a year ago. Remember when we had the big Social Security raise, not this last year, which was only 3.2%, but the year before that was a 40-year high Social Security raise, and people were saying even that wasn't enough to keep up with how bad the inflation was, okay? So just a year ago or so ago, we were at 40-year high inflations, and now we're seeing inflation jump back up above where we were a year ago. So when you see inflation at 3.5% or the 5.7%, this means inflation is going up from where it was last year when it was 40-year high inflation. So this means inflation is actually going up from where it was last year. So if inflation was at zero, this would mean, okay, the 40-year high inflation that we had from a year ago, we've stayed even at that point. But that's not the case. Inflation is still going up from the 40-year high plus inflation that we had. Well, this is a severe problem. And what people are saying here, and this is why the stock market had a severe drop, Fed seen cutting U.S. interest rates later and less as inflation stayed hot. They originally were saying is that we would see 3 interest rate cuts this year. And now, hot inflation likely to delay interest rate cuts. Here's what to expect. Rate cuts may not even begin this year. Some experts are saying that we might not see any interest rate cuts this year at all. Remember, interest rate cuts affect credit card interest rates, mortgage interest rates, home interest rates, HELOC interest rates, but also car interest rates, personal loan interest rates, business interest rates, every type of interest you pay, credit card interest rates, everything, okay? But also, we're seeing here major headlines, guys. The Fed might not be done raising interest rates just yet. In fact, some people saying because we're seeing, I know this is mind-blowing, guys. This is mind-blowing because we're seeing CPI inflation go up. They may have to raise interest rates again. And if you've seen my previous video here with what the JP Morgan Chase CEO just said, they may have to raise interest rates. I'll link you to that video at the end of this video. This is shocking news, guys. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Next up, wow, as if this wasn't wild enough, O.J. Simpson, former NFL star whose murder trial gripped the nation, dies, passes away at 76 from cancer. Wow, you can, what a trial and tribulations he had towards the end of his life, going from one thing to the next to the next. His chapter has ended here today. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Next up, U.S. government on high alert as Russian hackers steal critical correspondence from Microsoft. We continue to see this over and over and over again from Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. U.S. governments say midnight blizzard compromise of Microsoft corporate email accounts presents a grave and unacceptable risk to federal agencies. A U.S. cybersecurity agency, CISA, just today issued an emergency directive mandating that all federal agencies immediately hunt for signs of known Russian APT that broke into Microsoft's corporate network and pivoted to steal sensitive correspondence from U.S. government agencies. The directive comes from less than 3 months after Redmond disclosed the embarrassing hack and confirmed that Midnight Blizzard attackers also stole source code and may be poking around in its internal computer systems at Microsoft. According to the CISA directive, federal agencies must immediately, quote, analyze the content of exfiltrated emails, reset compromised credentials, which they might not even know, right? And take additional steps to ensure authenticated tools for privileged Microsoft Azure accounts are secure, which who knows, they might not even know the extent of the Russian hackers. The agency warned that Russian government-backed hackers are using information initially exfiltrated from the corporate email systems, including authenticated details shared between Microsoft customers and Microsoft by email, to gain or attempt to gain additional access to Microsoft customer systems. And, well, the problem is almost everybody on the planet Earth has used or does use a Microsoft PC, or has at one point or another. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Next up, an ancient treasure trove, literally, has been unearthed in Pompeii. Helen of Troy, Pompeii excavators unearthed a treasure chest of ancient paintings that are literally priceless. Yeah, take a look at this. Exquisite paintings depicting Helen of Troy have been discovered by archaeologists excavating Pompeii, the latest treasures to emerge from the ancient Roman city. The artworks adorn the walls of large banqueting halls, which have just been unearthed nearly 2 1,000 years after Pompeii and Herculaneum were smothered in volcanic debris from Mount Vesuvius in AD 79. The room also features a mostly complete mosaic floor made up of more than 1 million individual tiles. Wow. One colorful fresco depicts Prince Paris about to elope with or perhaps abduct Helen of Troy. Wow. According to Greek mythology, which triggered the Trojan War. Let me know if you've seen the movie with Brad Pitt. One of my favorite movies. Another image shows the god Apollo largely naked, but with a blue cloak draped over his shoulder and leaning on a lyre, attempting to seduce Cassandra, the Trojan princess. You can see some of the paintings here being unearthed, paintings here, here, and here. Another famous painting in which Zeus, in the form of a swan, takes the Spartan queen, Leda. She becomes pregnant and gives birth to Helen of Troy. You can see one of the paintings here. Unbelievable. Another painting here of the Greek god Apollo. Unbelievable. These paintings are literally priceless, and who knows what else they might find there. You can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. These are things that are just absolutely just breathtaking, and it's kind of like over there in Egypt, where they're still uncovering and finding stuff there, where it's they're still finding stuff today, and uncovering this stuff, digging and excavating is a painstaking process that costs a lot of money. But when they do find this stuff, it's unbelievable, right? So I'll keep you up to date. Make sure to smash the like button for us. Share this video with anybody that wants to see or hear any of this. Click here to see the Senate get broken into and over 50 people arrested. Or click here to see JP Morgan CEO Chase warning to Americans about how hot inflation is and the warning coming with it. Thanks, and I will see you in the next video.